All right. So our group was in charge of topic three, which was legitimacy and stability. Um, let's see. Okay, so legitimacy is the ability and the right for a leader to rule his country, and it's determined by the country's citizens. So what that means is that a ruler can, say he has power, and he can technically have that power through the law or whatever. But for an actual and for him to actually, order things and get things done through legislation or whatnot, he has to have the citizens' approval, and that he can do that using constitutions or ideologies or social compacts. It's been categorized into three forms, which is traditional, charismatic, and rational and legal. So the first form was traditional legitimacy. This is typically seen as monarchies, and it's kind of an antiquated belief that's not so much practiced today. But it means that it's a belief that tradition should determine who rules and how. Often there's a lot of legends and myths involved. Like the Sword in the Stone in the UK. Or often there's a lot of religious background to that, such as with the Catholic Church, and its leaders are ordained by God, and they gain their legitimacy through divine source. And their symbols of legitimacy are carried down through generations, so their power can transcend their lifetimes, the rulers' lifetimes. And that's all I got.
All right, the next is charismatic legitimacy. So this is based on the dynamic of the personality of a ruler. So it's a much more fluid form of power. It occurs after traditional legitimacy is challenged, and this type of power is short-lived because it doesn't supersede the leader. And the best example of this would be Napoleon's Bonaparte, which demanding the personality and military strategy, which gained loyalty from the people, but after his death, his empire dissolved. The next is rational legal legitimacy. So this is based on a system of well-established laws and procedures, and it's anchored by strong institutions, for example, legislatures, executives, and these last three generations of leaders. And it's based on the acceptance of the rule of law, and this comes in two forms: common law, which is based on tradition and past practices through real legislation and past rulings, and the U.S. and Britain fall under common law. And the other is code law, which is based on a comprehensive system of written rules of law, as in commercial, civil, and criminal codes. China, Mexico, and Russia are the countries that fall under code law. Oh, the examples of rational legal legitimacy. So Martin Luther King and other leaders that are charismatic are able to capture the imagination of the public. And additionally, they have a huge impact on political, social, and economic developments, which make it the legal part. So they're able to do both. And Britain and Norway still maintain a rational legitimacy of monarchies, which adds stability and credibility to their political systems.
All right, so some of the factors that encourage legitimacy, and this is typical of both democratic and authoritarian regimes. So the first one is economic well-being, and that the citizens will credit the government when they have economic prosperity and will typically blame the government for economic hardships. The second one is historic tradition and longevity. Citizens of the country and most other countries will view government as stable and legitimate if that government has been in place for a long time. So the third one is charismatic leadership. And according to Max Weber, the charisma of a leader is a powerful factor in establishing legitimacy. And you'll see that in a lot of legitimate governments. The fourth one is nationalism and shared political culture. So if the citizens are feeling patriotic and identify strongly with their nation, they'll tend to be more accepting of the government. And the fifth and last one is satisfaction with the government's performance and responsiveness. So if the government's granting benefits and other things to their citizens and they're winning wars and essentially just protecting its citizens from violence and crime, it's probably a legitimate one. Lastly, legitimate governments tend to encourage stability, not just politically, but economically and culturally as well. And most countries tend to be stable and less open to internal and external disruptions when they have economic well-being, longevity, a shared political culture, and satisfaction with the government's performance and responsiveness. And that's it for topic 3. Do you guys have anything else?
I don't know.
No? All right. Thank you very much.